The saddest thing about this to me is that it's not surprising. You know, I've seen him do things over the course of his career that have been very dangerous and very, it's just not smart. Dana White announced it, said he is officially retired, and Tom Aspinall is the UFC heavyweight champion. I didn't think that it was going to happen this fast. That by not stepping in that octagon, he quit. Didn't want to fight Tom Aspinall. It's so surprising. Tom Aspinall was waiting. UFC was waiting. Everybody's waiting. Jon Jones just walked away. But what happened today opens the conversation for us to question whether or not he ran away. I will go to my grave believing he quit instead of fighting that guy.
UFC legend Jon Jones, who recently shocked the MMA world by announcing his retirement, is now facing legal issues once again, as per records from Bernalillo County Metropolitan Court. Jones has been hit with a misdemeanor charge for allegedly fleeing the scene of a car accident that took place back in February. He's expected to attend a bond arraignment hearing on July 24th. Police report linked to the case mentions a woman partially undressed and appearing intoxicated, who claimed Jones was behind the wheel before allegedly fleeing the crash site. On foot, authorities later questioned a man believed to be Jones, who reportedly appeared to be under the influence and made unclear threats during the exchange. The woman involved stated she had consumed alcohol and mushrooms at Jones's residence and had no memory of the events after leaving, only waking up at the scene of the accident. Reports also claim that Jones attempted to contact her 13 times after the incident, while the crash took place months ago. Formal charges were only recently filed. There's no confirmed connection between this legal situation and Jones's decision to step away from fighting.
There's a criminal complaint against Jon Jones. It stated that an Albuquerque police officer was investigating a traffic crash near San Mateo and Lomas when she came across a woman in the front passenger seat of one of the cars exhibiting signs of significant intoxication and lacking clothing from the waist down. I got this from the Albuquerque Journal, which was sent to me. The woman reportedly said Jones was the driver but fled the scene on foot. She then called Jones, the complaint stated, and the police service aide spoke to the man on the other end of the call, believed to be Jones. He appeared to be heavily intoxicated and made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force through third parties. To the PSA. The court record stated the PSA requested backup after what was believed to be a threat when a police officer then talked to Jones and said similar allusions to violence were made.
Daniel Cormier weighed in on the entire situation, offering his perspective on the events and shedding light on how the investigation has developed up to this point.
The man on the phone never answered direct questions about whether he was Jones. The complaint stated, when interviewed in person a few days after the crash, Jones said the woman found in the car had left his house earlier in the day intoxicated and called him after getting in a crash, at which time Jones said the person she handed the phone to immediately opened the conversation with unprofessional language, which led to him doubting the legitimacy of the individual's claim. The woman later told police she drank alcohol and consumed mushroom at Jones's house and recalled needing to change her clothes at his house, and her next recollection was being at the scene of the crime, the traffic accident. She said the last person she remembered driving her car was Jones. The court record indicated. Police said Jones called the woman's phone 13 times from the time of the crash until 11:34 a.m. the following morning, and that text messages from his phone were included, though they could not be captured in call detail records.
Daniel Cormier didn't hold back when discussing the troubling headlines surrounding Jon Jones. He admitted that, sadly, nothing about the recent allegations came as a shock, especially considering Jones's long track record of controversial behavior. Cormier went on to say that if Jones is truly stepping away from the sport, he hopes the former champion finds fulfillment outside the octagon, particularly through spending quality time with his longtime partner and children. He emphasized that no amount of money can replace a life filled with purpose, and suggested that Jones's real meaning might be found not in fighting, but in family.
The saddest thing about this to me is that it's not surprising. You know, I've seen him do things over the course of his career that have been very dangerous and very, it's just not smart. I hope that as he goes into this next phase of his career, if it's over forever, he fills the void with something positive. He's got some beautiful children. He's got a long-time girlfriend. He needs to fill that time with those people if he's going to be able to come out of the other side of his career with something else. Because even if you have a lot of money, you can have money and still not have purpose. His purpose is in those beautiful kids of his. His purpose is in that beautiful woman of his. That's his purpose.
At the same time, Jon Jones has officially stepped away from the UFC, sending shockwaves through the MMA community. UFC President Dana White confirmed that Jones personally contacted the promotion to announce his retirement. Following that announcement, White recognized Tom Aspinall as the new undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, signaling a new chapter for the division.
Heavyweight division, take the title away from him.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
However, Dana White admitted he was puzzled by Jon Jones's unexpected decision to retire, especially with the fight already set. According to White, the UFC had finalized a fair deal and provided Jones with an offer that matched his value. Despite everything being lined up, Jones still opted to step away, leaving White uncertain about what truly motivated the move.
Can you tell us the timeline of Jon accepted the fight, went to Thailand, came back, didn't want the fight? What happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Thailand was the end of it. You know, we were talking about it before that. But yeah, the fight was done. We had the fight done a long time ago. So why he decided not to fight, you guys will have to ask him that.
Is it accurate? There's a lot of reports about figures he was offered. Is it fair to say he was offered a lot of money to take this fight?
Yeah. Listen, he was offered what he deserves for that fight. Yeah.
Tom Aspinall also responded after being officially recognized as the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion. He expressed gratitude to his fans and supporters, particularly for standing by him during a frustrating 10 to 11-month stretch of inactivity. Period, he noted, was out of his control, but still difficult to endure. Now fully focused on the future, Aspinall said he's committed to staying active and defending his title as often as possible. His ultimate ambition? To go down in history as the greatest heavyweight the sport has ever seen?
Right, everyone, the news has broken. I'm sure everybody's seen it. UFC undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Moving forward, very, very important to me, just that I acknowledge everybody quickly who has supported me in this, I'm not going to say it was a tough time, but a bit of a challenging time over like the last kind of 10, 11 months that I have been inactive due to no fault of my own, but luckily that is all behind us now. Massively appreciate the support from everybody. Massively appreciate the support going forward. I am going to keep this thing as active as possible. I want to be the best heavyweight ever to walk the face of the earth. I'm going to defend this thing as many times as I possibly can.
Tom Aspinall made a heartfelt promise to the fans who've stood by him not just over the past year, but throughout the last decade of his journey. He shared his sincere appreciation for their unwavering support and vowed to repay that loyalty by being a true fighting champion. Aspinall assured fans that they can expect an active defending heavyweight title holder moving forward. He emphasized his excitement for the future and guaranteed that he's ready to keep the division and the fans energized and entertained.
I keep you guys entertained now. We're going to really give back to everybody who has shown me support over the last year, over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years. Really appreciate the support and love from everybody, and we're going to see an active, defending UFC heavyweight undisputed champion going forward. Thank you guys, and I'll speak to you.
Dana White also shared his enthusiasm about the start of the Tom Aspinall era. Right as International Fight Week approaches, he revealed plans to meet with Aspinall in Las Vegas to map out what's next for the new champion. White praised Tom for his professionalism and positive attitude throughout the entire process, noting that Aspinall has made it clear he's willing to face anyone the UFC lines up for him. Dana said he's genuinely excited for this new chapter and eager to see how things unfold with Aspinall leading the heavyweight division.
Tomorrow starts International Fight Week. I'll be back in Vegas tonight, and Tom will be there all next week, so we'll sit down with him see what he's thinking, what he wants to do. He's been great through this whole thing, and literally said, "I'll fight whoever you guys tell me to fight. I'm ready to go." So, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Tom Aspinall era.
Still, Dana White doesn't believe Jon Jones is intentionally avoiding Tom Aspinall. Despite the timing of his retirement, White pointed out that throughout his career, Jones has never been one to dodge opponents aside from one unusual situation involving Chael Sonnen. While the UFC had everything locked in for the fight, Dana admitted he's unsure what led Jones to back out. He suggested that age might be playing a role, and added that once a fighter begins discussing retirement seriously, it's usually wise for them to step away.
I'll just come out and ask you, do you think he's ducking Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones, I said it a million times, I'll say it again, he's never ducked anybody other than that one goofy time with the Chael Sonnen thing. He's never ducked anybody, and I think the reality is, whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know, you'd have to ask him that, but he's 38 years old, and I don't know.
Do you think if it was someone like Alex Pereira, he would fight them, and it's maybe Tom that he specifically doesn't fancy the matchup, doesn't fancy the age difference?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. Only he does. We had the fight done. Listen, our job is to make the biggest fights we can make and the fights that the fans want to see, and that's what we try to do. But the minute somebody starts talking about retirement, my philosophy on that, you should do it.
Meanwhile, Khabib Nurmagomedov shared a respectful message for Jon Jones. Following his retirement from MMA, though the two were never close on a personal level, Khabib acknowledged Jones as arguably the greatest fighter in UFC history. He praised Jon for his legendary achievements and the inspiration he provided to millions around the world, stating that with all he's accomplished, there's nothing left for him to prove in the sport. Khabib's message was simple and heartfelt. "Congratulations, legend. We were never friends, but you're the best to ever do it in UFC history. You've inspired millions. Your legacy is undeniable." In contrast, Daniel Cormier took a much sharper stance in his reaction to Jones's retirement. Speaking shortly after Dana White confirmed the news, Cormier stood by a prediction he had made weeks earlier that if Jon didn't fight Tom Aspinall, it would signal his exit from the sport. He described the moment as surreal, but not unexpected. Doubling down on his view, Cormier plainly said, "Jon Jones quit." He emphasized that to him. The retirement only confirmed long-standing suspicions that Jones wasn't willing to face Aspinall and saw it as a way of avoiding that challenge entirely.
Guys, normally we wait till the morning to release these videos, but tonight you gotta stay up late with the boy because Jon Jones quit. I said it a couple weeks ago that if he didn't fight this guy, Jon Jones quit. And tonight Dana White announced that he did. Unbelievable.
Despite their heated rivalry, Daniel Cormier expressed genuine respect for Jon Jones when reflecting on his overall career. Looking back on their battles, Cormier recalled their fight in Anaheim as the peak of his own performance, stating he had never felt sharper, even compared to when he held titles in both the UFC and Strikeforce. Yet, even at his absolute best, he was still defeated by Jon Jones. That moment, Cormier admitted, stayed with him and is part of why he holds such high regard for Jones's talent in Cormier's eyes, regardless of the controversies. Jon Jones was a truly exceptional fighter, one of a kind inside the octagon.
I can tell you this, without question, I beat Stipe Miocic, I became the Strikeforce heavyweight champion, UFC light heavyweight champion. I was never better than that time in Anaheim. That was the best I've ever been, and he beat me. And because of that, I will always respect him for his skills and what he did inside the octagon. In that 8-sided fence, there was no one like him.
Following the announcement that Tom Aspinall is now officially the UFC heavyweight champion, Dana White shared what comes next with International Fight. Week about to begin in Las Vegas, White confirmed that Tom will be in town throughout the week, and they plan to meet to map out the future. White stated that the focus now is on identifying the true one contender, think Don, and from there, they'll decide who Aspinall's first title defense will be against. The goal is to keep the division active and moving forward.
Yeah, with Tom Aspinall being an officially champ, who is the #1 contender right now? Whether it's Volkov?
So International Fight Week starts Monday in Las Vegas, and Tom will be in Vegas all week with us, so we'll get together with him and figure out what's next.
Dana White shared his thoughts on Tom Aspinall's path forward in the wake of Jon Jones's retirement. Expressing both empathy and confidence, he acknowledged that it was unfortunate Aspinall lost time and potentially a significant pay, waiting for a matchup that ultimately didn't happen. However, White assured that the UFC will make things right. He praised Aspinall for his professionalism and willingness to take on any opponent at any time, calling him a class act. White added that he sees Tom as not only a great person, but also a champion with serious potential. And he's genuinely excited about what lies ahead for the heavyweight division under Aspinall's leadership.
Do I regret the time that I gave him?
Yes.
Listen, if you look at what he's accomplished in the sport, no. It is what it is. I obviously feel bad for Tom that he lost all that time and obviously money, but yeah, we'll make it up to him. Tom Aspinall's a good guy. He's been incredible through this whole process that we've gone through. He's been willing to do anything, fight him anywhere at any time and do this, and now he's like, I'll fight anybody. You tell me who and I'll fight him. So Aspinall's been great. He's going to be a great heavyweight champion for us, and I'm excited to work with him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daniel Cormier also voiced his confusion over Jon Jones's sudden retirement, admitting he's unsure what exactly prompted the decision. Cormier questioned whether it was a strategic move by the UFC, a personal choice made out of frustration, or something else entirely. While the full reasoning remains unclear, Cormier suggested that if Jones truly values his legacy, stepping away now might be the right call, especially if the alternative is avoiding a rising force like Tom Aspinall or risking defeat against a younger challenger. He pointed out that the UFC had reportedly met Jones's financial demands, yet the fight still didn't happen. The announcement clearly caught Cormier off guard, as he described feeling stunned and said, "My head is spinning," after hearing Dana White's official confirmation.
I don't know if this is tactics by the UFC. I don't know that this is frustrations with Jon Jones. I don't know what this is. Does it feel like the end completely? I hope it does. Because if he cares about his legacy, he doesn't want to be sitting there beating up on guys that may get past Tom Aspinall. They gave him the money. They agreed to everything. And he still just would not do it. I'm going to bed. I'm tired. Like this, my head's spinning. It was crazy when Dana said that.
Daniel Cormier believes Jon Jones may not be retired for good, but thinks any return would come with conditions. He drew comparisons to legendary figures like Muhammad Ali and Georges St. who both gave younger fighters a chance by stepping aside or passing the torch. In contrast, Cormier suggested that Jones, much like Floyd Mayweather, appears more focused on preserving his undefeated legacy and carefully selecting his matchups. Cormier argued that Jones doesn't seem willing to take the risk of facing someone as dangerous as Tom Aspinall. He even speculated that if Aspinall were to lose his title, Jones might suddenly show interest in returning, something Cormier feels speaks volumes about the real reason behind Jones's retirement.
You know, every great champion, from Muhammad Ali to Georges St. Pierre to Chuck Liddell to myself, they've all left the ladder down. Very few people don't. Very few people leave without opening the door for that next guy to get a chance. Khabib did it. Floyd Mayweather never really gave that opportunity. Floyd said, I'm going to protect what I got, make a lot of money and take the fights when I want them, where I want them. That's what Jon's doing. Doesn't want to fight Tom. And I honestly feel like if Tom loses, he would come back. And that's crazy to me because that's going to only make it.
Julian Marquez also raised doubts about Jon Jones's retirement, pointing out how underwhelming the announcement felt. He noted that, for a fighter of Jones's stature, fans would expect a grand farewell or at least a dedicated moment to mark the end of an iconic career. Instead, it was a brief post-fight mention fro. Dana White, hardly fitting for someone considered one of the greatest to ever step in the octagon. To Marquez, the low-key nature of it all suggests that this might not be the last we see of Jon Jones. Meanwhile, Renato Moicano made a bold claim about the heavyweight division's future, confidently predicting that Tom Aspinall's next opponent will be none other than Alex Pereira. Moicano firmly believes this is the matchup that's coming, and even challenged anyone to change his mind. Dillon Danis took a very different approach. Mocking Jones's retirement in harsh fashion, he used blunt words to criticize the former champion, showing no sympathy for his decision to walk away from the sport. Josh Thompson had a more measured reaction, but admitted he was glad to see Cain Velasquez's heavyweight title reign lasting. 896 days remain untouched. With Jones stepping away at around 840 days without defending the belt, Thompson said it's time for the division to move on, stating simply, "It's Aspinall's time now." On the other hand, Jake Paul took a respectful route, congratulating Jones and calling him the greatest fighter of all time. He posted a short but direct message, "Congrats, Jon Jones. You are the GOAT." Jon Jones's retirement has sent shockwaves through the MMA world, not just because of who he is, but because of how sudden and uncertain the exit feels. With questions still looming around, his recent legal troubles, and no official farewell moment, many wonder if this is truly the end. For now, the spotlight shifts to Tom Aspinall, who stands at the center of a rapidly evolving heavyweight division. For more updates, reactions, and fight news, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat from the world of MMA.